guys, this is Tina from Shabbydabbydoodah. Welcome back to my channel. We are here for another one of our mass making sessions, and today I know that I promised that I would do covers. So we're going to do the covers today, and I thought we would do fabric covers. We can obviously explore other covers another week. But yeah, I thought that we'd start with some fabric covers. So what I have brought along is I've brought along a bunch of A4 envelopes, and I mean, I was lucky enough to get these when our Laura Ashley shop was closing down, and they were obviously getting rid of all their stationery supplies and things. So I really like these A4 envelopes, obviously not necessarily these Laura Ashley ones, but you know, any A4 envelopes, because I really like the squishy covers and things. So, you know, and for me, these just work out perfect. They're, you know, the perfect size, very quick and easy. And yeah, I think they always just make a really great journal cover. But of course, if you don't have envelopes, you know, you could just kind of double up a couple of bits of paper or something like that. You're just trying to put something to give your fabric a little bit of rigidity inside it, because otherwise you're going to just have a really completely floppy cover. So that's what I've brought along. I've got my Fabri-Tac here, and then I've brought along, you know, a selection of fabrics in large pieces to do complete covers. And then I've also brought along some kind of scraps and things to do maybe one or two collage covers. I've got plain scissors, and I've also got pinking shears. And then, of course, I will probably stitch around the edges of my covers, but you know, obviously if you don't have a sewing machine, or you would rather not sew, you don't have to. So long as you take your glue to the edge of your envelope, you're going to be fine. What was the other thing that I was going to say? Oh, and yeah, what I will probably do is I will probably do some sort of video after this to just show you how to then take your cover and incorporate it into a journal, you know, so that you get a comprehensive look between making your cover ahead and then tying it in with a journal. You know, so yeah, hopefully that's going to kind of be how we're going to do it. So let's get cracking. So all I'm going to do first of all is obviously stick my flaps down so that my envelopes are not, you know, don't have an opening piece. I'm quite lucky because these have got that self-seal, you know, strip. So that's all good. So I might just do all of those. I've brought along quite a few. I suspect that I have been way over optimistic of how many I think I'm going to get done in this video. But we'll see. Okay. That one. Oh, I had a different strip there. Okay. And what I will probably do is just do the outside of these covers. And as I say, then I will kind of probably do a video, a second part, showing you some things that you can do with the inside, and obviously then, you know, how to incorporate them, or, you know, make a journal using them, I guess. So just do these. I mean, actually, when I was then thinking about this, I thought, well, actually, I could do a week-long series on covers. I don't know whether I would actually have enough material. I don't mean this kind, but you know, enough content to do a week's worth. But I had loads of different ideas buzzing around in my head of, you know, ideas for covers and, you know, videos that I could do kind of obviously relating to the covers. But yeah, I thought we'll just start with this and see how we get on. So I will just do, I think in the first instance, just a bog standard, cover the entire thing with some fabric. Now, again, you've got different options here of how you want to do it. So I will show you kind of a couple of different options. So I'm going to take the first piece of fabric here. Oops. It's a super huge piece, so I need to just cut it down a little bit to make it a bit easier to use, because otherwise I'm going to struggle to, well, even fit it on my desk, let alone fit it on camera. So let me just trim this down so that I've got a smaller piece to work with. This gorgeous fabric was gifted to me by Laura, so thank you so much, Laura. I have used this already. I have used some of this fabric, but she had gifted me a huge piece. I assume this was maybe a curtain, or I don't know, perhaps a bedspread or something like that, but it's really, really, really lovely fabric. It kind of reminds me a bit like something you get in a stately home or something, because it's really thick. So that being said, what I'm going to do is just probably have this fabric cut around the edge, because obviously you can do your, you know, your folding in and your corners and all the rest of it, which I will do with, you know, with some fabric, but this fabric is very thick, like I say. So this is possibly not the ideal fabric to have, you know, corners and things like that going on, because you're going to get a little bit of bulk. So I will probably just cut around this with my pinking shears, and I think that looks, you know, just as nice anyway. So all I'm going to do is literally glue my envelope onto my fabric. And as I say, I'm going to try and go quite close to the edge, so that, particularly if, for instance, with this one, sorry, I just knocked something over. If, for instance, with this one, where I'm not intending on folding it over and I'm just going to have it cut down, I want to make sure that it's pretty well stuck when it's close to the edges, if that makes sense. So that's that. Good covering of the glue all over. And then I'm just going to turn that over and just literally stick that down onto my fabric. Now, I've already cut this fabric down on this edge with some pinking shears, so I'm just going to kind of go in like that with my cover. I mean, of course, you know, this is not rocket science at all, but you know, who knows, you may get some tips, you may not get some tips, who knows. So sorry, I just had to stand my other glue up because I'm actually, you know, got it balanced in there, tipping some glue into the bottle. And then all I'm going to do is literally trim around with my pinking shears close to the edge of the envelope, like that. Okie dokie. Like that. I do apologise if you can hear any banging. We're having some work done on our kitchen floor. We had our kitchen extended about 10 years ago, and unfortunately when they did the kitchen floor, as soon as I came home from work and saw it, I could see it was, you know, they hadn't done a very good job of the floor. It was a bit unfortunate because the builder who did the floor was doing the entire project, so, you know, we were kind of like on a bit of a tricky situation, and just, you know, you couldn't really do a lot because obviously he still had a lot of work left to do. So we just, you know, had to make it known that we weren't really impressed or very happy with the floor. But that was kind of as much as we could do. So we've had a tiled floor in the kitchen for that time, and needless to say, we've had to replace quite a few tiles because they've obviously cracked. You know, because the floor was uneven, and yeah, so they weren't leveled up properly. So we're finally having the floor redone and replaced. So it's, yeah, it's needed replacing for, well, really the whole 10 years since we had the kitchen done. But definitely about the last 6 years, because we've had numerous tiles actually cracked, you know, right through the middle. And obviously in the end it became too ridiculous to keep replacing them, so we were just having the cracked tiles. So we're finally having some work done and having the floor replaced. So right, so that's that cover. And as I say, what I will do is just stitch around the edge of that, and then that will be fine to use in a journal. So I'm just going to put that to one side. So let's bring in another one, and I'm going to use this fabric, which is absolutely gorgeous. So this is much thinner, although I've said that now, and now it has got this hemmed edge, so that may cause me to come unstuck. Let me just... Hello, gorgeous girl. What have you been up to then? Obviously it's a bit tricky because we've got the, you know, the builders in downstairs. Nobody can go downstairs. Certainly you cannot get in the kitchen, which is causing a bit of a problem. And so we're all hiding upstairs. can't even really get into the kitchen to make a cup of tea. Well, you can't get into the kitchen to make a cup of tea because there's dust everywhere. And as I say, I do apologise for any banging, but obviously they're trying to kind of level the floor now.
Can I show them this?
Yeah. And
We bought this yesterday.
This is my daughter's
Really
toy.
cute.
So we bought that yesterday.
A cute, like, mousey thing.
Yeah, it's very cute, isn't it? I don't think they can see it, darling.
His eyes are really
It's very
cute.
cute. It's one of those beanie toys. Yeah, we bought him yesterday when I had to go out and get, obviously, some ready meals to just put in the microwave because, of course, I can't now get to the cooker because we had to pull the cooker out. So, yeah, we just had to get some ready meals. So, right, now I'm just going to check because I don't want to cut through both of these sections because this is obviously where it was a pillowcase or whatever. So I'm just going to cut it down along here. So I could use my normal scissors, but they're just on my lap underneath everything. So I'm just going to use my pinking shears. Just, I'm just doing it very roughly. It doesn't matter at the moment. Because I want to now cut this piece, obviously, much bigger than my envelope, if you see what I mean. So that we can then do our corners. So let's just twist this round. Obviously, I do not have tons of space here to do this. So, and I do apologise that obviously some of this will not be on camera, but, it's obviously tricky to fit it in. Okay, so, so this one, I'm going to put this down onto the envelope, and then we're going to have this one actually folded in and make some corners. So let's put some glue down. Again, I probably could have done with ironing this, but don't want to have to now get the iron out, so I'm just going to go with it. So lots of glue. I am going close to the edge again, but to be honest, it's not quite so vital on this one because, as I say, I'm going to go in with those corners. So, okay. Yeah, so the whole weekend was taken up with taking the tiles up for the kitchen floor, which, I can't tell you how dusty our house is now. It's absolutely awful. Absolutely, really, really, really awful. Dust is literally everywhere because obviously the tiles had to be kind of smashed to get them up and things. And yeah, the dust is, well, everywhere. So yeah, nobody's really able to go into the kitchen other than, to get a drink of water or anything. I mean, obviously all of our stuff is now piled up in our living room. Got all our plates and everything piled up in there. Our fridge freezer is in there. Everything's piled up. So, I mean, downstairs is not particularly usable now. So I hope that they're not going to be here very long doing the floor. Because, it drives you nuts, doesn't it, when the house is just in such chaos. Right, so that's that. Now, obviously, it has got 1 or 2 creases. I'm not too worried about that because I will probably be covering, quite a bit of this up anyway. So all I'm going to do is turn this over. I'm going to get my normal scissors now just because, they might be a bit easier to work with. So I'm just going to cut this down. I'm not worried if it's straight or not, but I'm just going to cut it down a bit to make it a bit smaller. And on this edge as well. Now, I have to say, you can probably see, I've already kind of marked this up a slight bit because I've not got very much fabric here. So what I'm going to do is, now I've seen people do this in lots of different ways, and it's completely obviously up to you and what you find easiest. But sometimes I find it easiest to just cut across, and then you've got much less fabric to, be bulked out with, if you see what I mean. Or you can obviously fold it in. It will depend how thick your fabric is. Obviously, this fabric is, although it's quite nice, quality fabric, it's not too thick. So I could get away with folding it over. But if your fabric is quite thick and you want to kind of lessen the bulk, then you may want to actually cut your fabric down. So if I just demonstrate here on this corner. So if you just kind of cut your fabric across at the corner, oops, like that. Okay. And then you've got much less bulk there to worry about. And your corners are kind of mitered then, so they will just kind of meet. As I say, it will depend very much on the fabric that you're using. I'm going to obviously do that now for all of the corners so that I've got a bit of uniformity going on. But if your fabric's, you know, particularly thin, you know, you may find that you won't even need to do that, because actually your fabric would be absolutely fine to just fold over and have that bulk. I mean, to be honest, this one would have been fine as well, I think. So I'm going to just fabric tack this down like that. Okay. And again, you know, this is going to be covered up, so you really don't need to worry too much, because by the time that you've stuck something over this, you know, this front cover, well, this isn't the cover, this is the inside of the front cover, this is not really going to be visible at all. So, you know, so long as you've got a neatish edge, that's good enough. So I'm going to turn it round and obviously just cut this corner down as well here, like that. And then again, what I want to do, so I'm just going to kind of move this up the desk slightly. Oops, my nail varnish is coming off now. Right. That's the glue, taking my nail varnish off, obviously. So, okay. But again, you know, not worried, because of course that will all be covered up. So again, just fold this in like that. And then your corners will just, you know, neatly meet like that. So just squish that down. Again, I'm getting super messy, so I'm just going to grab my wipe. Okay. Oops. Like that. Oh, you've made a house for the mouse now. That's cute, isn't it? Oh. So then you're going to just go in here like that. Whoops. Made a horrible job of cutting that. I was at a strange angle. But again, then we're just going to glue this one down like that. And close-ish to the edge as you can get. And then of course you just want, you know, some in the middle as well. And again, just fold that over. Squish it down. There we go. Okay. Right, okay, so that's that one. Oops, I've now got a red nail varnish on there, so let me just see if I can. I don't think that's going to come off, but never mind. I will have to cover that up when I come to do the journal. Okay, and then we're going to just do the final end. So again, let me just weigh it down with my scissors, and then again, just pop some glue on here like this. And then we're just going to fold this up here like that, and then like that. Okay, whoops. Love you, darling. Colby has a parent. Oh, so Colby is her mouse. Okay, so I'm just going to spread the glue out just with my scissors here, scissor handle, because hopefully that's a little bit less messy than getting my fingers completely mixed into the glue. And that's that one. So I'm going to leave that one to dry. And again, that's the front cover. And when we go around that on the sewing machine, it will all be, you know, looking really super neat. And then when we cover the inside, of course, this will all look neatly finished off as well. So that's that one. Okay, so we'll do another one with just the, you know, the complete fabric, I think. And then, so I've got this one, which again, this gorgeous fabric was gifted to me by Laura as well. She's got some awesome fabrics, I must say. And yeah, they just remind me of the kind of medieval tapestry type things that they would have had hung in, you know, banquet halls and things like that. So again, I'm just going to cut this down very roughly at first, just so that I've got less to be contending with on my desk, like that. And then we can then obviously glue that down. So I'll just move that out the way. And this is a brilliant way to obviously use up some of your fabric, you know, super quickly, because of course you're going to get through it very quickly making these covers. Now, just one other thing that you might want to kind of make note of, really, if you've got anything written on your envelope, you know, if you're using a recycled envelope or like this where you've got something written, you may want to just make sure that you are either using very thick fabric or that you kind of make sure this is on the side where you're going to have like a pocket or something like that. Because again, if you use quite thin fabric and you've got some writing, or I don't know, maybe you've got postmarks and things like that on an envelope, that's going to obviously show through if the fabric's too thin. So, you know, it's just another thing to kind of take into account, really. Okay. So, like that. Okay. Okay, so I can probably be, you know, quiet about the process now, because of course, as I always say, I mean, it's not kind of anything too difficult. Whoops, I nearly left that on the wrong way. There we go. And the only other thing that I might kind of chat about really is that I might do one or two collage type ones. So using some fabric to collage. So, but aside from that, I think we're good to just relax now, have a chat, have a catch up. Hope everyone's been having a good week. I know it's obviously early, as I always say. I mean, I filmed this on the Monday, so of course my week's only just started. And this week has started obviously with the chaos of the builders downstairs. I mean, thank goodness obviously that during this particular lockdown we're still allowed to have things like that done. Well, I mean, obviously we wouldn't have taken the floor up if we weren't. But yeah, let's hope they don't change the rules midway through the job, because that would not be very fun. Okay. And I just want to say thank you so much to everybody for my daughter's birthday wishes. That was so kind, and so many lovely people wished her a happy birthday. So her birthday was last week, and obviously she was very upset when she found out, because when I filmed the video last week talking about her birthday, we did not know at that point, but we were going into another lockdown. So obviously when she found out, she was obviously very, very upset, because she had been really looking forward to going to school. She had been looking forward to obviously, you know, having the class sing happy birthday, and at the end of the day they can then give sweets out on their birthday, you know, to the class and things like that. So she was really looking forward to going to school, and she was really looking forward to seeing her best friend. So she was absolutely devastated when, you know, when I told her that actually we were in another lockdown and now she wasn't going to be going back to school for her birthday. So, yeah, it was kind of, well, a real shame. But luckily, we did manage to have a lovely day. So, yeah, she actually even said it was the best birthday ever. A lot of it revolved around food, which unfortunately a lot of the lockdown activities seem to just revolve around food in our house. But I guess, you know, it's limited scope for how to create enjoyment during these times, isn't there? But there we go. So that one's done now. So I just move that to one side. And I think I'll do a collagey type one now to just kind of show you a bit how that will look. So again, just take it up that way. So I've bought in some different fabrics that I can just collage up. So I've got these little scraps. Again, these were sent by Laura. I've got this, which I thought would be quite nice with these. So I've got my scraps box just to the side of me. And it's got quite a few, you know, fabrics and things that I thought actually would go pretty well with this. And actually I've got my upholstery fabrics, so I'm just going to grab a couple of those from my box beside me in some, you know, similar colours. So hold on a moment. Okay, so I've dug out some of my other scraps. My gosh, that was a mouthful for me. So all I'm going to do is literally just collage some of these pieces around. So no particular order or anything. I'm just going to literally take things as I fancy and just pop them onto the cover. So I'm just trying to see if there's a right and a wrong way for that. I think it's that way up. Okay. So yeah, she had a lovely day anyway, but I mean, obviously at first I thought, oh no, this is just awful, because she was obviously pretty upset. Okay, and I mean, again, I just think, oh, thank heavens for Amazon, really, because obviously, thank goodness, was able to get a bunch of stuff from Amazon. Okie dokie. Okay, I'll just cut that down. We're still watching Anne with an E, my daughter and I. We do love it, don't we? She's just said she loves it. We do really love it. We're on to season 3 now, and it's only got 3 seasons, so we must not have that much left to go, which is such a shame, because I think we're going to be really gutted when it's finished. It's just been such a lovely series. You know, it's just full of just, oh, just, you know, sweet, nice, you know, lovely things. And it's, yeah, really, really nice. So, yeah, I think we're going to be pretty upset when that finishes. And who knows what we're going to actually watch after that. But it's tricky, obviously, finding something that's suitable for her to watch as well. So it's been really nice. I mean, it's just been her and I watching it. Nobody else has watched it. So we've been having a lovely girly time watching that one. And I'm looking forward to watching Bridgerton. I don't think that one's going to be suitable for her. I can't remember actually whether that one might be a 12 or a 15. I can't remember. So I will have to check it out. I mean, if it's a 12, you know, I mean, although she's only now 7, I don't really mind too much, because, you know, I actually think you can see worse things on the news than you can often in films. But, you know, and obviously on the news things are real, but we'll just have to see. So, yeah, but I can't remember. Like I say, it may even be that it's a 15. I'm not sure. But that one, I think the whole family we're going to watch, because I think everyone wouldn't mind watching that one. Well, I say they wouldn't mind, actually. I did mention it to my son the other day, and he did kind of turn his nose up. What? That was his reaction. What? So although I've said, oh, we're all going to watch that one, yeah, he might not be as keen as I'm thinking. Right. So I'm just kind of mixing this in with some, you know, different shades of kind of browns and greens, really. Okay. Got this gorgeous fabric. Again, this was gifted to me by Laura. Loads of these fabrics were. She, like I say, really does have such an awesome collection of fabric. And yeah, I've been so lucky. She's been so generous and shared so many of them with me. And I love these kind of heavyweight fabrics. We don't seem to get that many of these types of things. You know, when I go to car boot sales and things like that, which is where I kind of would buy things, they really aren't, you know, this heavyweight fabric. They tend to be mainly, what do they tend to be? I guess things like duvets and things like that. So, yeah, not so many of the gorgeous heavyweight fabrics. So these are really lovely. I mean, the duvets and things are great too, and they definitely, you know, definitely have their uses, don't they? But it's just nice to have some different things too. Okay. Oops. that one down there. Again, just try and kind of line the edges up, I have, just so that it's not going to cause me a load of work afterwards, kind of neatening up the edges. So just doing them all just with the pinking shears and just, you know, roughly kind of down in place. Really not paying much attention at all to what I put where, because obviously, you know, my cover won't stay like this. It will have other things on it. So, well, I guess it may stay like this, but it's doubtful. You know, I'll probably put some other fabrics and, you know, lace and things like that on top. So, you know, I'm not really too worried what's where at the moment. Just trying to get just the nice tones and shades really on there. So, okay, I've got this lovely fabric too. I don't know what this fabric's called. I don't know whether this is kind of like a satin of some sort, or I don't know whether it would be silk. I don't know, but I love this fabric. It's really, really, really nice. I'm going to put that there, I think. Love you, darling. Okay. Hold on then, darling. Yeah, gorgeous. There we go. And we have been super lazy all week. We have done literally no exercise at all. I mean, I do still do my workout every day, first thing in the morning, you know, which I think is just kind of almost really essential for sanity, if nothing else. But we've been super lazy during the day because it has been freezing, absolutely freezing. And when I say freezing, I mean literally the temperature has been 0, like pretty much all week. So I mean, even the house feels cold like all the time. It's not really seeming to warm up particularly, but of course every day I'm kind of saying, oh come on, you know, because actually it's been really bright, lovely days, you know, those crisp, cold, bright days. It's been lots of those. So every day I say to my daughter and my son, I mean, obviously my eldest son is at work, so just my middle one. But every day I say to them, you know, come on, it's a really nice day. Let's go out for a walk, or, you know. And I'm just greeted with, no, just no, mum, no. And they just refuse to go out. So, yeah, that's not been great, to be honest. We've been super, super, super unhealthy from that point of view. I mean, I do get it because it is like bitterly cold outside. And even when you wrap up, to be honest, it still is freezing. I mean, we did go for a small walk, I think, on Saturday. And we got home. It just took me hours to warm back up, to be honest. I know I've said before, but, you know, my daughter doesn't really seem to notice the cold like I do. So although it took me hours to warm back up, she was fine. But yet she's the person who doesn't want to go out in the cold. Well, to be fair, I don't think she wants to go out for a walk in any weather. I don't think it's cold related. I think it's just the going for a walk is the issue. Yeah, you don't like walking, do you? It's not your favourite thing. I don't know. I guess it would be some people's favourite thing, wouldn't it? Right. Well, we like going for walks. It makes you feel good to be out in the fresh air, doesn't it? Okay. So I'm just thinking I can kind of patch that in like that. Like I say, I mean, I'm really not too worried because a lot of this is going to just get covered up anyway, probably. You know, perhaps I should say the chances are a lot of this will be covered up. I mean, I can't guarantee that. And actually, I have put a lot of glue on this fabric. And to be honest, I probably needn't have bothered because when I did my own kind of mass make version of covers a few weeks ago that I know I mentioned, I did actually stitch all around, kind of rough stitching all around, which was really fun. So I will probably do that, in which case, you know, you really don't probably need to go so mad with your glue. because of course the stitching is going to kind of reinforce and ensure that everything's stuck down anyway. But you know, I guess obviously just in case you weren't stitching, this is all going to be held down really well with the glue now anyway. So, and then I'm just going to have that one there, I think. I mean, this is a great mix of colours, isn't it, on this? Really pretty. Let me just check which is the right and the wrong side of this.
Look at his house.
Hold on, darling.
Colby's house.
Hold on. Very sweet, yeah. Okay, so that's there. So I love how that looks, that kind of patchwork effect. It just looks gorgeous, doesn't it? So I might have to do another one of those quickly. Now, as I say, I do apologise because I've stopped and started the video that many times. I've really not got a clue now how long I've been filming for. So, yeah, I do apologise for that. Now, I'm just going to tidy up these little bits and pieces and so that we can do a different coloured patchwork, because I don't want to kind of just make it look the same. So hold on. Okay, so I've dug out lots of blues and things like that now. So let's do these so as we get a bit of a different look. So these upholstery fabric samples, I mean, I've again got them from different shops. This one was from a shop here called Next, where you can send off and get them for free. But I also, and I know I've mentioned this before, I was so lucky again when Laura Ashley was closing down. I managed to buy a whole bunch of their fabric samples. I mean, of course, I was a bit limited in the colours that were available. I mean, that was a Laura Ashley one. But nonetheless, I did manage to get a whole bunch of them. So, you know, that was really awesome. And these are just the perfect size for doing a project like this, because, of course, you know, you don't have to cut them down. They're just going to fit on here, you know, just fantastically. So, yeah, keep your eye out, you know, if you can find anything like this. They're just a brilliant thing to just make it really quite quick and easy, having some little, what are they called? Oh, fabric swatches. Yeah, fabric swatches available. Because as I say, they're just really the right size. So let's just glue this one down. Okie dokie. And again, you know, I'm not too worried because I am going to stitch on this. But if you're not intending on stitching, you just want to make sure that your pieces are, you know, going to be nicely glued down along the edges. So, yeah. Now, I did have a bit of a mishap the other day where, obviously, because I'm gluing like this, I couldn't really see the top edge. And I actually had a white strip showing on the edge. And I've done a video for that cover. And so you will see, because it did actually cause then a little bit of a tricky issue, trying to then cover up that white edge. So, yeah, I need to be a little bit more aware now of when I'm doing up there, although I can't see it. Obviously need to make sure that it's actually glued. Not glued, sorry, that it's actually covered up. Because I just had then, you know, some white edge showing, which, you know, then it kind of caused me a bit of a problem when I was decorating the cover, because of course then I had to try and disguise it and cover it up. So yeah, just something to be a little bit aware of, I suppose. So this pretty fabric here, this is just from that bunting that I've had for yonks and yonks in my stash. It was actually from my sister's, I think it was from her wedding. She had this pretty bunting up at her wedding. And, you know, then she obviously had quite a lot of it. Didn't really know what to do with it. So I was more than happy to obviously have it for my journals. So, yeah, otherwise she was just throwing it in the bin. So it was a, you know, shame to do that. And I think I've actually even got some more of this in the boot of my car, would you believe? Like a travelling shop in there. Because, yeah, I have lots of things that, you know, I haven't even bought in the house yet. From, oh, absolutely ages ago. So, yeah. Right, let's cut this down. So this is some more of that gorgeous fabric that I was gifted by Laura. Again, in that, what is this? Is this satin? Is it silk? I'm not sure. But anyway, I absolutely love this. It takes me back to being a child. I don't know why. I must have had something in this kind of, I don't know. I can't think what it could have been. Maybe I had a dress or a skirt or something in this type of fabric. I'm not sure. But I absolutely love that. So let's just glue that down. Like that. Okie dokie. Just dot that glue around. And the other thing is, I mean, obviously with all my little pieces that are left over now from the fabric, you know, that I've cut off, you know, of course you've got then perfect bits of fabric to make some fabric snippet rolls. So, you know, waste not, want not. Don't kind of throw your little scraps away, because of course you're going to be able to make some other really lovely things from your little scraps. You know, which is awesome. And you could even make some, you know, coordinating snippet rolls then with your covers, which would be even, you know, even nicer. So just going to get this a bit more square. It's tricky cutting it down because of course that bunting's triangular, so of course that draws the eye to, you know, lead in that triangular shape, doesn't it? Now, do I want this? Oh, that's kind of a lavender colour, but it's super pretty, isn't it? So just going to snip that down here. Okay. Do we think that goes, or is that a little bit too lavendery? I don't know. Perhaps I'd be better off with that. Yeah, maybe I shouldn't use that. And now I've cut it. That's a shame, isn't it? Oh, well. Right. Oh, well. Let's just not worry too much. So just trim this one down. And obviously, you know, the beauty of this is you can then layer and layer and layer. So, you know, you can just put sort of more and more bits on until you're really happy with it. So, you know, you can then put lace on top of this and all sorts. So I won't do that personally until I've decided what journal these are going to go on. And at that point, then I would add extra things like the lace or anything else. You know, that's when I would decorate it. For me, I find it, I think, best to, you know, like the mass makes, where I kind of leave them blank and undecorated. It will be the same with the covers. You know, if I'm then doing a blue journal, oops, I had that white showing again. If I had a blue journal, or, you know, was intending on making a blue journal, I could then just grab this cover for a blue journal and then just then decorate the cover afterwards. And, you know, it's going to then look good in the, you know, the shades of blue. So that's kind of how I would use them. So, okay. And actually I've got some darker velvet. I'm so sorry about that noise. I don't know whether it's very loud where you are, but I mean, it sounds really loud here, so I do apologise. I'm obviously really bashing the floor, you know, to try and level it out. Okay, so I think I'm going to have that there. So this will probably be my last one, and then I will take it across to the sewing machine and just do kind of a couple of bits on the sewing machine just to kind of show you, whoops, show you how I would kind of finish these. But as I say, it's my intention to do then another video. I have already done one video using these types of covers, so I will, you know, I will upload that, of course, but that wasn't intentional to go with this mass make, but actually it does, you know, it kind of ties it in quite well. But yeah, it's my intention to do, you know, another 1 or 2 videos just showing you then what I would do with these covers, because, you know, I mean, I know not everybody obviously, you know, needs or would like another video, but obviously, you know, I do get lots of comments and emails and things saying, you know, well, I've made this, but now what should I do with it, you know, because we're all at different stages in our in our journaling, aren't we? So, you know, it's nice to be helpful to everyone, really, isn't it? And just, you know, to kind of think, well, some people would appreciate kind of some other guidance, really. So yeah, I will of course try and bear that in mind. Right, I think I'm going to snip this here. And again, just straighten that edge. Again, I really should have ironed this fabric, but I mean, again, I kind of think, well, it doesn't matter too much, because if we kind of, you know, we're going to stitch around it and things anyway. I mean, the only thing is, obviously, this fabric's pretty thin compared to like the velvet, so it is kind of sinking down, which I guess is another thing to be a little bit aware of, is that if your fabrics are vastly different thicknesses, you know, they're not going to necessarily layer up really how you may want them to. So in this instance, what I've done, I've just taken here another fabric, and I'm just going to, I think, put that there, because it's going to kind of fill that dip a little bit better. So, and then I can layer that other piece of fabric on the top. So I'm just going to glue this down here like that, like that, and then oops, just have that there like that. And then when I put this fabric now, it's not dipping quite so far, if you see what I mean. So I'm just going to trim that off because it's not very straight. Like that. Yeah, unfortunately it's not looking such a sunny day today, so it wasn't looking so bad earlier, but it's clouded over quite a lot now, so I don't think we're going to be doing a walk today either at any point. Okay, so we just pop that one down there. Like that, okay. And then we'll just layer up. I mean, this is lovely, isn't it, this one? So I think I might just even put the whole of that down, to be honest. Or I may prefer to have that here, like that. Yeah, I think like that. And then this one that I've got, that remainder, like that. That looks really nice. So I'm just going to straighten this up because it's not straight at all. Okay. And then this one's not got a crinkly edge on the bottom, so I'm just going to do that here. I mean, just pinking shears just help to stop the fabric fraying, really. I mean, they look pretty, of course, as well, but, you know, their main purpose, I find, is just to stop the fabric fraying so much. I'm not saying it eliminates it completely, of course, but it, you know, it definitely helps. Okay. So, like that. Okie dokie. And again, not going to go too mad with the glue because, you know, I'm going to be taking this to the sewing machine. I'm just putting a bit here because that looks roughly kind of the centre, which of course then my envelope's going to be folded in half, you know, for the signature to be stitched in. So, okay. Oh, they're really bashing. I'm so sorry. So sorry. Obviously, you know, it's not like I could have waited and done it later because, of course, they're going to be here, you know, all day. So, and by the time that they leave, it will be too dark. I can't really do videos once it gets dark because the lighting just is, you know, not good enough. Okay. There we go. Again, you know, I should have ironed that, but, you know, I'm not too worried. So that's that one, and then we're just going to have the last bit just going across at the top. So, oops, it's still not straight. I've made a horrible job of that for some reason. Oh, I don't know. Okay, I mean, it, you know, it won't be so obvious once it's got some stitching and some lace and things like that. It will, you know, not be so apparent that it's quite so lopsided as that. So just going to glue this down here, and then we'll go over to the sewing machine and obviously stitch some of these down. And I won't stitch them all with you guys, but I will just do one of the patchwork ones to just show you kind of how I would stitch that, and then I will do just one of the, you know, straight around the edge ones. So there we go, that's that one. Okay, let's go over to the sewing machine. Right guys, I'm here at the sewing machine, and I've got my covers here, so I'm going to just start by kind of just showing, you know, stitching around kind of the edge of one. So we'll just take this one. This is the one that we did the, you know, folded over edges. So literally, I'm going to just stitch around as close as I can to the edge, just with a, you know, slightly longer than its default setting stitch. And I'm just using a straight stitch there all the way around, like that. Okie dokie. Would you believe I went to do this just now, and there had actually been a power cut? So, well, I lie. I thought that the electric had gone off because of the workmen. I thought perhaps that they had had to switch the electric off for some reason. And it was only then that my husband popped his head round the door and said that there had been a power cut, apparently. So, yeah, I had to kind of wait for quite a long time for the power to come back on. I can't tell you the last time we had a power cut. It must have been absolutely years ago. But thankfully the power is back now. So I just did another video following on from this one using your covers whilst the power was out. Okay. Oops, I've switched the sewing machine off. I meant to lift the needle and switch the sewing machine off by mistake. So that's the first cover. Hopefully you can see the stitching there. Literally, I've just gone kind of as close as I can to the edge, and that's obviously how it looks on the inside. Just stitched around. So that's going to obviously give it a bit more durability. So that's that one. And then I'm just going to kind of do the blue one and just show you what I would do with this. So again, what I would do is probably start by going right around the edge. So exactly the same as I did with the last one, using the slightly longer than stitch right the way around the edge. I'll just pull my sewing machine slightly in. Okie doke. I've got bits of, you know, threads of fabric all over these fabrics. Right, just need to be careful here because, of course, it's then pulling the fabric up, so. Okie dokie, and then along here. Oops, I've got another case of the fabric coming up here, so just be careful there. And of course, if your fabric does come up at the corner or anything, it's no big deal because, you know, you can just cover it up with some lace or some other fabric or anything else. You know, it really doesn't matter at all. And even if you didn't cover it up, it really doesn't matter. It's not the end of the world. Okay, so I've nearly done around the edge. Okay. go, and then just finish it off there. And then all I'm going to do is kind of go at random places. So I'm going to just stitch along this edge just because it's just nice and quick to do this. And then here, where this fabric now is kind of overlapping, I'm going to just now go in and, you know, you can mix it up here. You can do some straight stitching, you can do some zigzag stitching. So I'm just going to change that to a zigzag and just do a bit of zigzag stitch there. And then a bit of zigzag stitch here. Now I'm using white thread. Again, you could mix this up by using obviously coloured threads and things like that. You know, just play around and see what looks best, but you know, completely up to you. So again, just go up here. And then, you know, you don't have to even go just down the outside of your fabric, you know, or down the edge parts. You can kind of really mix it up. I mean, like there, I've just gone straight through. I'll just cut this off and show you. I mean, I probably will go down this edge, but I've just gone straight up there, which obviously was not on the edge, but it looks really cool, doesn't it? So I think what I'll do now is go, again, zigzag right the way down here, like that. Okay. So as we get much more of a kind of patchwork thing going on, again, I'm going to just go down here now, across that fabric. You know, and I mean, obviously I'm not, you know, I'm really not going all out to be super neat or anything like that, because I mean, actually, probably the more fun it is, you know, or the more eclectic it looks, the better. So again, just zigzag there, like that. Maybe go up here, just on that edge. Okay. Again, just trim that off, and then, oops. But then this one, I'm just going to go, I think, yeah, I think I'll probably just go along here, like that. Maybe through the middle here. For another kind of fun sort of detail going on, really. So, like that. Again, just trim that off, like that. And then I'm just going to stitch up here. Again, might just take it up here again. Like that. Just trim that down. I mean, to be honest, the stitching actually, you know, the more stitching the better, I think, because the stitching looks really, really pretty and adds a really nice effect. So, you know, I actually kind of think more is more. So I'm just going to backstitch here so that I can get it to then go down on this blue here as well. Okay, take that out. And actually I just want to go on this end here. Okay, have I got enough stitching? We'll just have a last look. No, I just want to go now down this end here, or this edge, perhaps I should say, here. Okay, let's just have a look. Oops, pull that out. So obviously I've got tons and tons of threads on the back of here now that all need tidying up. But just to give you an idea, so that's kind of how that's beginning to look, which looks really, really pretty, doesn't it? And then I've just got this little portion of doily, which I just wanted to kind of show you that a bit like we've, you know, done in the past with our fabric snippet rolls, you could then take any bits of lace, you know, I've got some more lace here in my drawer, in fact, so let me just pull this out. And obviously this has been, you know, coffee dyed, but just going to tear that along. Quite like it a bit more frayed, so just get it looking a bit more scruffy there. And then you can add some bits of lace onto your cover, you know, wherever you like. which actually just looks really, really, really nice. And, you know, you don't even need to glue these. You could just then stitch them on in random spots. So perhaps we'll have one, I don't know, perhaps we'll have one there or something. So let me just stitch these on now. So I'm just going to stitch this one here. Okay, and I will just go down because that will just kind of capture it on the edge as well. Okay, like that. So just, I mean, really much as we do with the snippet rolls. So, you know, just playing around. So I'm just going to cut this doily piece down a little bit because then I'll have kind of 2 bits to use in places instead of just the one. And I'm just going to then stitch that. I think what I'll do is just stitch it on the corner, like there. And then I'm just going to kind of go around here, like that. And then just take that then up here. I mean, I'm just trying to get it stitched on in a sort of variety of places, really, just so as it holds in place. Down there. And then again, just along here. Like that. Okay. Just then trim that down and then just dropped that other piece of lace on the floor, so bear with me a moment. Okay, right. So this one, I mean, we could have it, I know I was going to have it on the back, but, oh, well, perhaps we'll have it there. Yeah, that looks quite pretty. Oh, sorry, just pulled my sewing machine apart there. Sorry about that. Okay, and just going to stitch this one then here. I don't think there's a really right or wrong way with that lace, but just in case. Okay, and then along here, like that. Trim that down. So sorry about the table moving all the time. Obviously, you know, my desk isn't the biggest. I mean, I'm not complaining because I absolutely love my desk, love having my sewing machine here. It's absolutely awesome. But of course, you know, it's not a very big desk and it is essentially a sort of dressing table type thing. So, you know, it's not great. I mean, it's great, you know, for me, I love it, but it's not great, obviously, for having like a sewing machine stood on it and filming because, of course, it's a little bit on the wobbly side. So I do apologise for that if it's, you know, wobbling around. I'm going to just stick that, or, you know, stitch that piece of doily there. And then I think that will do. So again, just kind of stretching that out so as it fills up a little bit more. Like that. And then, whoops, just going to turn it round and then I'm just going to back stitch to catch that. Like that. Okay, so I mean that's a really good start now for obviously doing some decorating, isn't it? Because we've already started layering up some lace and things like that to kind of just give you an idea of how cool and how awesome this is going to look. So I hope that you like it. You know, I mean, as I say, just have a real play around. I think, you know, you can make some really gorgeous covers. And I have done a video to go up hopefully tomorrow, you know, with ideas of how to use the covers, how to now, you know, bind this into, you know, to make your journal, and how to then do the inside of them. Just some ideas really. So I hope that you found this really helpful. I hope that you enjoyed the video. I hope you have fun using your scraps and your fabric and things like that and make some awesome covers. So thank you so much for watching, guys. Have a great day. Thanks then. Bye.